Welcome to Mutts Monthly, Series 2, Episode 3, or Episode 13, depending on how you look at things. Hi, how are you? Hi, Julie, are you there?
Yeah, yes, I was just about to say good morning, but it's afternoon.
Good morning. Well, it is like, what time? Hold on, what time is it? It's 10 to 5, babe.
10 to 5, good evening, good evening.
So you might have had a little just then in the background, because today, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by grooming legend and soon-to-be star of Pooch Perfect UK, Mr. Colin Taylor. Hi, Colin.
Yay! I don't know why I'm doing that. Nobody can see me. But hello, everyone. How are you?
We could have done a Mexican wave, couldn't we?
We couldn't do. We are in because we record this on Zoom because of the whole lockdown thing. So let's do a Mexican wave and see how it works. I'll start. Then Julie.
Okay, who's going first?
Yes, Stu.
I've done it. Okay, this is
no bingo wings.
Well, I mean, like we're having a little fit. That's fine.
It's only going to work if I publish the Zoom meeting, which I could possibly do. Yeah. Anyway, yes, we're joined by the lovely Colin Taylor. It's a really exciting week, is it not, Colin?
Absolutely, very, very, very exciting. / a little bit nervous, but mostly excited. And I'll probably be behind my pillow watching it like that every time I come on.
Okay, so for people that don't know, Pooch Perfect's airing this Thursday. So it's the first episode out on BBC One at 8 p.m. I think it's after EastEnders on Thursday. That's the 7th of January. Yeah, so after the duff-duffs, you will see Colin and the whole team bring to us the most amazing new dog grooming competition that's going to be beamed onto our screens. And it's been a lot of hard work for a lot of people, especially for Colin and your lovely co-host Verity, who we're going to get on. I think once the show's up and running, we're going to ask her if she can come on and talk to us about it as well to see how it's going. So, you're excited, you're nervous, but you've been through this before, Colin, because you did it in Australia.
Yeah, I did in Australia, but in Australia that was not like you're playing on home turf, are you? So in Australia, I flew to Australia, landed with swollen ankles, did my job for 30 days or close to it. And then Coleman came with me, and then we came home. And you know what? It was a learning experience for me. So that's why I really, really enjoyed it, because even though I was judging groomers groom their dogs, it was totally out of my realm, but I really, really loved it. And so this is the same. They're both incredible shows, but this is more special to me only because it's in the UK and I live in the UK, and you know, people can drive to my house and, you know, scream at me and all that kind of stuff.
That's the thing, isn't it? You can kind of leave the Australian one a bit behind, can't you? You can get on a plane.
Yeah.
You know, all big tick in the box. But the funny thing is just as you were doing that intro just then, Stu, the whole thing with the Pooch Perfect hasn't really dawned on me that it's a competition. Do you know what I mean? I get that people are getting knocked out, and I get that's the thing. But for me, I'm not looking at it as a competition, and I don't know why. I'm looking at it more as entertainment and really just trying to bring dog grooming to the masses, for them to see the skill involved, the relationship with the dogs, the relationship with the owner. I'd totally forgotten until you just said, oh, it's a competition. I was like, I forgot about the competition side of things.
Well, we've all been.
So how important is it for all those elements to come together? How hard was that?
Is this from the offer, Stuart?
Well, just for both of you. I know you were both heavily involved, but you know, for you, Colin, first.
Well, I think, you know, obviously, you know, this is a competition, and you have 16 amazing groomers who are on the show, and they are battling it out for UK's best dog groomer. And so you do have that understanding, but they came on the show knowing that every single week somebody will be going home, or however the format is. And there is that element where nobody wants to send people home, but that's just the nature of the game. But what I loved about Pooch Perfect, the BBC one, is like they're learning from the experience. I wanted the contestants, just like a grooming competition, to understand what they could do to improve their groom, you know, why they actually did end up going home, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, once again, this was my second time, but still a learning process for me. I mean, my God, Stuart's done camera work a lot more than I have, and he worked his butt off. And I mean, like I said in post, he was like a huge backbone to Pooch Perfect, and I couldn't afford a better person to spend, I don't know, 28 days with or whatever like that, because we had fun too. And with COVID going on, we had to make sure that we were doing the right thing, social distancing, and it was a big undertaking. What you see on the camera is massive. What you see behind the camera is, I mean, as massive, if not more, because there's so many boxes you got to tick to make sure everybody's happy, all the dogs are happy, and that's why I'll let Stuart talk about that.
It's a little bit like, I suppose it's a little bit like that old adage where they say the swan looks so graceful going down a river, but underneath the legs are going like crate going 10 to the dozen to keep it afloat. And I think that the whole team, there was a huge crew on it, and my job wasn't there to judge, unless of course either Verity or Colin went off. But my job was there to make sure that they were okay, that the groomers were okay, that Colin and Verity were okay, that the dogs were okay. And, you know, I think that when they decided to do the show and they brought me on board, I think initially they didn't think they would need me quite so much. But actually, it was quite obvious as we went through different points of the pre-production, things were being pulled out, and it was obvious they needed a consultant. They needed someone to talk to and ask that they could ask that knows about dog grooming. And I'm really pleased that I was able to fulfill that role. Do you know what I mean? Because it was a really, really important, integral role, and it was a real learning curve for me as well. So yeah, we loved it. It was really good fun. But I think that the fact that Colin was there and Verity was there, it was a good, fun team. And Bolu, like the on-screen guys, made it very mumuch a really enjoyable production.
And Bolu's lovely, isn't he? Bless him. Sorry.
Yeah. I've followed him on Instagram, that's all.
He's very easy on the eye.
Yeah, very easy on the eye.
But he's got well, he's obviously, he goes to the gym. He would make anybody feel terrible, because he's like, okay, got to go for a run now, and then about an hour later, okay, got to do this. I'm like, really? And but he was amazing. But he's in his 20s. When I was in my 20s, I was like, woohoo, let's go. Now I'm in my 50s. I'm like, where's the chair? Where's the chair?
I need a chair. I need to sit down.
Don't sit down. Leave me alone.
I'm more like, where's my bed? I was about to bugger a chair. I just want to go to bed.
You had a nap this afternoon, Julie.
Oh my God. No, but you know, but it was nice to see. I mean, we got there early. Stuart got there in before us, because they had to go through the dog process, and obviously then we would show up and, you know, go through all the primping and all that aspect, it's lovely. I'm not going to lie. I mean, to be pampered or to make yourself look the best you can possibly make is amazing for me. So 30 days out of the year, I look good.
You always look good. What are you talking about?
And the rest of the time I'm like scruffy and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, all I can say is that the groomers are going to love it, because it's going to really spotlight what we do, just like you guys spotlight what we do. But also it's going to be educational. It's not just watching people groom a dog. It really isn't. There's a lot more to it, which I'm excited about.
I think that you go through the whole roller coaster of emotions that a groomer will go through during this process, and that's what I loved about it. And they're highlighting it in such a good way. So I'm really, really pleased. Colin,
you will cry.
Do you think you're ready for the media attention you're going to get?
Well, you know what? To be fair, you know what? We lived. I mean, like, Julie's been to my house. I'm not to say that media is going to come here, but I don't look. I don't ever buy newspapers. I don't ever buy magazines. I don't ever, I watch the news lately because of COVID to know exactly what's going on. The Indian restaurant and the Chinese restaurant has a hard time finding my house. So I know, but nobody's going to be able to find me. And so I kind of live in a bubble, and I don't really necessarily, when people say to me, oh my God, you know, they probably say it about you two. Oh my God, that's Stuart Simons. Oh my God, that's Judy Harris. To me, that's really weird to hear, because I'm just I am a professional dog groomer who has been in the industry for a long, long time. And that's how I look at myself. I don't look at myself any more than that. I'm proud of what I've done. Coleman's proud of what I've done. You guys are probably proud of what I've done. I'm proud of what you guys done. And my mum and dad haven't got a clue what I do.
Oh my God, it's so the same. It's so the same. My sister just, nothing. No sort of recognition at all. And as you say about the media attention, I remember about 3 years ago at Crufts, somebody asked if they could have their picture taken with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why? And they're like,
it's embarrassing.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, really? And they were like, oh, please. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
what I did at Crufts, the last 3 years, what I've done at Crufts, because they have been guide dogs for the blind and the handicapped right opposite us. So first of all, when somebody wants a photo taken with me, I'm embarrassed because other people are walking past thinking, who the hell is that? You know, who's that? You know what I mean? So I get really embarrassed. So then what I did as a Crufts is, if you want a photo taken with me, you have to donate £1 or more to the charity, the stand. So people would give money, £1 or whatever, and then they would come back. But it's like, okay, be quick, because I'm not good at that kind of thing at all. And but yeah, I mean, hey, as long as people enjoy the show, that's all I'm really worried about, to be fair.
I'm sure they will. You're going to you come across beautifully on it. I'm certain you do. So do you think, changing the subject a little bit, do you think the grooming over the years has changed? And do you think that, I know that we're going on to Pooch Perfect because that's happening on Thursday, 8 p.m, BBC One. After EastEnders. But do you think that because obviously there's lots of different age groups of groomers that are on the show, could you see a difference in the grooming styles? So what I'm trying to get at is, was it obvious that grooming's changed over the years, and does an older groomers have specific ways of doing things more than so that younger groomers? Is there trends like that you notice in the industry?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think if you see a person of 20 odd years, if they've been going to seminars and competitions or whatever, they normally keep up with the up-to-date ways of doing things. But with me, myself, I have a routine of grooming a dog. Sometimes if I have a dog which isn't acting up or which is stressed out, I have to break that routine for the dog's sake, and that's fine. But all in all, I think a lot of the groomers have kept up with the times of how to get from A to B in the most efficient way. And has grooming changed over the years? Absolutely. I think it really has. It's changed to benefit us when it comes to speed and getting the job done and understanding. However, I still think there are people out there who feel that the best results are with scissors and all that. And yes, a scissor finish is beautiful. Do I think that every dog in the salon needs a scissor finish? Absolutely not. I think there's ways of getting from A to B in a nice, timely fashion, with using snap-on combs, thinning shears, scissors, whatever it may be, and getting the dog done in an hour and a half, making it look beautiful.
That's what we say.
Because at the end of the day, I'm a pet groomer. I'm a pet groomer above anything.
Yeah, I think we say that. We generally at the salon always say, but use the snap-on combs or the thinners, etc. But I always do say to my staff in London, especially, you've got to keep using your scissors, because I want them to keep
absolutely
that feel up. Otherwise, you lose it. It's a little bit like singing. If I don't sing regularly, I'll lose the ability to be able to sing properly. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Dance, it's the same for everything. You've just got to keep your tools sharpened.
I think
You do, and it could be as simple as picking up. Where are they? Picking up them scissors and sitting there on the couch and doing this, you know. And I worry. I said to my friend the other day, I said, "My God, I haven't done a seminar. I haven't done nothing in for over a year now." And you know, but then again, I say that, but when you actually get a dog in front of you and you pick up a pair of shears, it is like riding the bike. You do naturally have that ability. Do I have the same ability that I had when I was 20 years old? Absolutely not. But like Julie, like you, our way of our ways of in the industry changes. We're still in the industry, but we're doing more education, or we're doing more of this. We're not necessarily grooming every day, but you guys do everything. You groom every day, plus you're doing everything else.
Yeah, we
I
like
tell you what, also Stuart's saying about, you know, if you don't use the skill, you lose it. Is I think a lot of youngsters now are not. I mean, there was no snap-on combs when I was being taught, so we had to pick up scissors. You know, that was, you know, you were given a pair of scissors, and I mean, I went through, you know, 5, 6, 7 years of grooming with only one pair of scissors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just madness now. But we, you know, we scissored everything, and then with the onset of you know, attachment combs, they were so rubbish to begin with. You were so scared of them. It still took years before we started using them. You know,
the plastic ones, and plus they were sharp.
Yeah, because we scissored. Even now, I'll pick up a comb attachment to take a leg to a certain length, and I'll go, oh God, I can scissor it quicker.
Yeah.
And I put them down and I go ahead and scissor it, and I feel sorry for groomers nowadays that didn't have that foundation. You know, they've been taught with snap-on combs because they, you know, that skill we had to have. It's not that we're, you know, cocky about it. We wouldn't have been able to get the bloody hair off otherwise unless we'd scissored it. There's no other way. Well,
and I think back in the day when we were grooming and went to school, like I went to school at Jill's, and you got a blue apron with London Academy of Grooming, a scissor and a comb, and on your first day you were put to clip a poodle's foot to half the face, wash and dry it, and scissor the dog. And it was a long time in grooming where you would determine how good you were by how good you could scissor. I think even in grooming competitions, I would have to say, and still today I see it, where people are saying, oh my God, that dog's scissored beautifully. I'm thinking, yeah, but does it have the shape? And to me, obviously I've gone through the learning process of judging by listening to incredible judges, and you know, understood, but the shape will always hold. The shape's the most, to me, the shape's the most important. And then obviously, if I can get shape and scissor work together, that's beautiful. But shape will always be the most important thing, in my opinion. And obviously, then we try and get the scissor finish.
Shape to me is what, I don't want to say takes my breath away, but shapes to me makes me relook. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Absolutely, exactly.
You know, but I'll walk past the dog and I'll go back and I'll go, oh, do you know, they've nailed it, or you know,
I've started to do more judging just recently, and for me, when I'm judging, I always look at a silhouette first. I always make sure, because if that silhouette's nice and it's balanced, and I look at from what they've gone from before and to after, then that's, to me, is what takes my breath away. That's what makes the difference. The amount of work they actually looked at the whole dog and gone, that's how I can make it look the best that it can possibly look. That's what I want. That's what I want to look for.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Julie was saying to me the other day, we were talking, I was scissoring Ralph up. He's my standard poodle, who I love. And he's got really terrible hock hair. But his hock's kind of, it's not high, but he's a
low hock. He's got very low hocks.
He's a big dog. And so Julie pulled out a bit of hair, which is where his hock bone was. And I was like, you know, I never scissor it to there, but as soon as I left it longer there, it worked. It's because that's how he's built. And I was like, God, you know, you don't, until it's pointed out to you, you don't see that. And
that's right.
Anatomy, Julie does, you do an anatomy class, don't you, Julie? And it's
I love anatomy.
Really, really interesting, and really helps with the groom, I think.
Well, I think what's important too, people people rave about Julie's anatomy glasses, and what I think they probably get out of it is Julie isn't saying this poodle has to have this haircut. She's actually putting the haircut on the dog for its to benefit its own self, so to speak, you know. And I think that's really important. It's not like, okay, that angulation has to go there. Well, it maybe go there on that dog, but it maybe goes here on this dog.
Well, that's what I said.
And so it makes every dog different.
Remember on that podcast the other day, I was talking to you, Colin, on your podcast. We'll talk about your podcast in a minute. But on your podcast, you called me up and I was talking about that lovely Irish groomer who had done
the Russian black, or the black Russian.
Yeah,
yeah.
Black Russian. And
yeah.
they were talking about, Julie, they were talking about shaving down the back leg. Do you go to the hock or do you go to the muscle line like a schnauzer, etc.? And she was saying, you know, the textbook says you've got to go to the hock, but I haven't, but this dog didn't have it. And she was really confused. And I said, what you need to do, because I judged her, and I said, what you need to do is look at the dog, because if it's right, it might be textbook exactly what you're supposed to do. But if it doesn't suit the dog, then don't do it. If the dog's hasn't got loads of leg hair, or if it's got too much, hasn't got enough leg hair, then you've got to do it so that it suits whatever the dog's got. You can't just go, the book says that's what it is, because we're all different.
Yeah, exactly. And normally a book will have a drawing of a beautiful Russian black, and they will put the clipper lines or whatever lines on that beautiful drawn picture. When you have a real dog in front of you, then it's going to be totally different. You're going to have to groom it to benefit itself, aren't you? So yeah.
Oh my God, I've got the classic example of that is the Shirley Kelstone poodle book. I love it. It gives you all the ideas in the world, but you look at these pictures and they're all drawn, and you look at them and you look at them and you look at them.
Yeah.
And then you realise that this poodle has got the perfect tail set. And
absolutely.
In 50 years of grooming, I've never seen a poodle with that tail set. So all these lovely angulations that she does on the back ends, you struggle with, because the tail is just, you want to hack the tail off and then just shove it on the top of the body and go, that's where it needs to be. But it is really, but then part of the skill is recognizing that the tail is in, and it takes you years. It really does to actually. You know, I've seen some Westie heads where people have gone, oh, how can I improve? And I'm like, do you know, you've done a fabulous job, because that Westie's nose is so long. There's no way you can make that head look round.
Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? Is being able to take a dog, all different dogs, and make it look the best that it can possibly be. And that's, as judges, we go, that person's done that.
Yeah, and I think that's the key to good judging, is that it might not be the best looking dog that you place first, but it's the groomer that has turned a silk purse into a Sow Zero into a silk purse. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. You know, you look at it, oh my God, they're not really going to be able to, you know, really wow me with that. And then they do, and you're like, you know, I remember there was a little drop coat Lhasa that I judged years ago, and this groomer did scissor over comb on it, and it was the worst coat ever. It was like a dog you'd never bring to a competition in your life, because you knew you wouldn't be able to do much with it. And she did a beautiful job, really skillful. I would never have been able to have done that.
It's so clever, isn't it? When you get someone.
Oh, they are. They amaze me on a daily basis. These groomers, they really do.
So, how is the podcast going, Colin?
Yes, I've yet still to come on. I think he's.
I know. What I did call you the other day, and you did answer, but then it went all crazy. You know what? The podcasts are going great. And
before you say any more, Colin, let me just tell. So the podcast is called, is that a dog hair in my tea? Is that right? In my suit?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I say it like that because that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So I
have to say it with a question mark behind it.
Is that a dog hair in my tea?
Is that a dog hair in my tea?
That's the podcast. It's incredibly popular, and it's available from everywhere, isn't it? Spotify and
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Spotify, iTunes, and actually, to be fair, I didn't realize, but it was on other platforms until other people say to me, "Oh, it's on Google this and Google that," because podcasts are it's a new thing for me, and I wanted to do it because not because I was necessarily over Facebook, but because I wanted to have a voice and put feeling behind the voice, because when you type on Facebook, a person can read your answer in many different ways. So I wanted to say things and have passion behind what I say, or be blunt if I want to be blunt, and so people could really see where I was coming from and not say, "Oh, Colin's bitching about this," or "Colin's saying that's right," or "Colin's saying that's wrong." And I think that's why I love podcasts, because you can actually hear somebody's expression behind what they're trying to put across. And I have serious podcasts. I have funny podcasts. I have ones where I do surprise calls like I did to you. And they're fun. And plus, I mean, my God, it's nice just to get in my office and just close the door and put the roadcaster on and talk for an hour,
Yeah. And I think that it helps people as well, especially at the minute with the whole COVID thing. And I don't want to bang on about COVID all the time, because we always mention it, don't we, Julie?
We do. We get a bit involved with it, don't we?
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID-free zone.
It's just constantly changing. But I do think that people like, especially if they're on their own grooming alone, these sort of podcasts are great for groomers and for dog lovers. Just have it on in the background. It's a bit of company whilst you're grooming, or whilst you're sitting at home on your own. Have we come with a cup of tea and a bit of cake. I think it's really important that the more I think lots of people are only just discovering podcasts, so it's just really nice to have a friendly and familiar voice in the background chatting away about things that you're interested in.
And I think that's exactly right. I did lessons for level 3 throughout the lockdown, and so many of them said, "Oh, I'm just off out to walk the dog and I'm going to listen to your lesson," or do you know what I mean? I'm literally just, it's so much better than picking up a book. Today we're covering, parasites or legislation, and they'd go off on a dog walk and listen to it. And I think it's definitely here to stay. I really do.
Oh God, yeah. I think when it comes to, like I said, like Stuart just said, I never really, podcasts and storytelling has been going on for years and years and years, I guess, but I've never really got into it. I'm not a book reader. I don't enjoy reading books. I can never get into them, but I have enjoyed listening to people's podcasts. And it was really funny, because I did do one by myself the other day, thinking I was going to do a meditation podcast, like, okay, lay down, close your eyes. Tomorrow you're going to groom a Westie. But then I said, you know what, this is crazy. I leave that stuff to them people. But you know what, it's like
in the background with a little bell.
Ding 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 ding.
Finger.
When I say woof, you're going to wake up. Oh, too funny.
God,
but they are fun.
Nothing to send me to sleep. Nothing at all. It's I'm quite good at going to sleep.
Well, I'm good at going to sleep, but I just seem to be waking up a little bit earlier. And so we go for a walk at 9 o'clock and we go for a walk at 7 o'clock. And I've got my flashlight, which I wear on my head. I'm showing it to you guys. The listeners can't see it, obviously. And I go for a walk down the lane. It's fun.
So are you on this like healthy fitness, healthy living, and are you changing your lifestyle, Colin, a little bit?
Oh, well, yes, I am. And you know what? It's not easy. There's so many conflicting, confusing diets, and Noom or whatever it may be, or Slim as well, whatever. I'm just doing what's best for me. I'm cutting back on my meat intake, or even totally doing it. Like the other day, I tried Linda McCartney's mozzarella burgers, and they're amazing.
Okay.
So there's different things which I'm trying to do, but most importantly, I'm getting my ass out there. Plus, my phone reminds me every half hour, "You've been sitting down too long. Get up and move."
Oh, I hate that smug phone.
And I'm like, shut up. Whoever, But you kind of feel guilty, and I'm kind of glad it does, because it always puts it in my mind. Coleman loves to go for walks, and but I was having anxiety and putting myself in anxiety, thinking I've got to keep up, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But I found a really beautiful route that we walk, and I enjoy it, and it's incredible. So I really enjoy doing it now, because I found somewhere which I love to go.
That's amazing.
That is the key. Yeah, we live. Both Stu and I live in Hastings, and the problem that I have is that I tend to do most of my walking from the house, whereas I know Stu kind of chucks the dogs in the car quite a lot, don't you? But it's the hills. Oh my God, Colin, there's hills everywhere in Hastings.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
exactly.
If anybody phones me while I'm on a walk, I'm sound like I'm just about to have a cardiac arrest. I was talking to you the other day, Stu, wasn't I? And I was going up Bodiam Drive, and he's going, "You okay?" I'm going, "Yeah, fine." "Are you sure you're okay? Shall I call you back?"
Oh God! But then again, when it gets colder, obviously, and you know, and I'm an overthinker. So if I'm walking and it's freezing cold. Like we walked in freezing fog last week, and I was out of breath, and I'm like, oh my God, COVID and all this kind of stuff. And I overthink everything. I've got every disease in the book. I've had it. I've got over it, and I'm going to get it again. And that's a horrible thing, to be an overthinker. And I think we all are. Artistic people, we're all a little bit touched in some way or another. And so yeah, but I found this beautiful walk. It is kind of flat. I do pace myself to go faster or to go a little bit further. And if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to beat myself up for it. But it's eating cleaner. And but every time I have the food I love, like a curry, I feel like shit after. And I'm not talking the typical curry feeling. I'm talking ill, like allergies, like horrible, you know? So yeah.
Didn't you do a test recently and it told you that you were...
I did the intolerance test, and I'm probably going to do it again just to make sure they're on the right track and doing their job properly. But, and plus I'm paranoid, but I'm allergic to wheat.
Honestly, you and Stuart, I think you were separated at birth.
Oh, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm allergic to so many things.
I don't think you get to our age, do you? You don't get to the sort of late 40s, early 50s without some kind of baggage going on.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll always tell people I've always been, I've got OCD. Every handle in my house is loose because I check it. And it happened from 1987 when something happened in my life with a cousin who passed away in a house fire. From that time, I was really weird about things being left on, the doors being locked, and it sent me into being really overthinking a lot of things. So OCD is definitely in there. And but yeah, it's just one of them things where I want to just send my hair in again just to make sure, but see if the results come back, you know, a second time the same, because was my hair dirty the first time? I'm going to send clean hair in this time. Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy that way.
It's funny though that you should, like you mentioned about anxiety and stuff, because whenever I do a show and have to learn a lot of lines, I start to get stressed, don't I, Julie? And it starts to build up in me because I think, oh, you know, I've got a lot to learn. I've got to be off the book by rehearsal. You know, you only get 3 weeks to rehearse these things, and sometimes that it's a really big part and it's a lot to take in. And I found the last time I did a main part just recently, and I found there was an app called Headspace.
Yeah.
Well, it's just fantastic. It 100% got me through that show, because I used to, when everyone was doing their warm-ups or getting their physical warm-up or their vocal warm-ups done, I would go away and lay down, put my earphones in and just calm myself down, because like you say, I started to overthink, and then the overthinking started to become a little bit panicky and my heart rate started to go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Headspace takes that out, and it just makes you go and sit in a quiet room somewhere. You only have to do 10 to 15 minutes, close your eyes and don't open them for anything. Just listen to what they're saying and it works. And I would really recommend anyone that feels anxious like that.
It's amazing.
To try
it is amazing.
Headspace.
But you know what? I say it every single time, and the one thing I worry about in this industry is groomers not taking 10 minutes, 15 minutes out for themselves, sitting in a dark room, listening to thunder and lightning, or listening to nothing, or listening to whatever they, as long as it's soothing. Yeah, I really do think it's important that we promote, take some time out for yourself. Just 10 minutes a day, it can really, really help. It's not about falling asleep, it's about just sitting there and being mindful about where you're at right now. And if you had a crappy day, why? If you had a great day, why? And trying to just be real about certain things and understand. But there's so many people, we've learned so much about mental health throughout the lockdowns through COVID. And it does worry me about people. And you know what? We're creative people. So with that comes the heightened senses of being more anxious, more overthinking, and stuff like that.
I completely agree.
I think it's very easy to let even just, you know, silly things overwhelm you, isn't it? And that.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, that's all it is. It's just you just get totally overwhelmed by the situation. I was fine during the first lockdown, but this second one has really I don't know, just made me sad. You know, this latest one, I was like, you know, I really
go on, sorry.
You know, people keep saying, "Oh, I've had enough of this now," but I really felt quite sad in the second one that I really, you know, I didn't want to, you know, do that again. I really felt like we'd done, you know, I'd behaved myself in the first one, and that I should have been rewarded some way.
Yeah. It's very difficult.
Very where we are.
I remember someone posted something. I think that actually it might have been Verity. There was a picture. We'd gone into tier 4 in Hastings, and I think Verity was in tier 2, and they could go to the pub still. And she posted a picture of her and her husband in the pub, or just her. And I actually thought to myself, God, you know, you take it so for granted that I can just go around the corner to. There's an amazing pub called the Welcome around the corner from me, run by the most amazing couple, and I love just dropping in there. Just when I fancy it, going, pop in there. Me and James will go there. It just takes us away from the house. We'll usually take Ralph with us, have something to eat and a beer. And it's just the ability that's there to do it. And then when it's taken away from you, like you said, Julie, in the first lockdown, it wasn't a bother because it felt like it was temporary. But now with the second lockdown, and it's been nearly a year now, and we're like, I want that back. I want that freedom. It's taking too long now, and you start to get a little bit claustrophobic, and you think, well, I haven't got that ability to release. I was a little bit jealous when I saw Verity sitting in the pub because I was like, I want to go to the pub.
You feel like putting an angry face, don't you, instead of a happy one? Yeah,
I know. Yeah, but I mean, I agree. And we were in tier 2, then we went up to tier 3, and now we're in tier 4. And I think obviously there's a reason behind them doing what they're doing, and I'm totally accepting of that. I have to be. Do I like it? No. But then again, I've always been a homebody, really. But I feel bad for the businesses. I really do. I really worry about people that have pubs, restaurants, any kind of business, who really do rely on their income and income for their employees, and obviously like that, and obviously have some kind of normality in life where I can go see my mum and dad and all that kind of stuff. And it's weird because when you do have the options of going to see your parents, you don't, and you forget about it, or you forget to call them. The one thing I've been doing now is making sure I call my mum and dad every day to make sure they're okay. And but I wish I could just go pop down and say hello to them. I can't even do that.
How near are they to you? Are they quite near?
Well, no, they're in Ruislip, Middlesex, and I'm in Somerset. So, well, it takes about an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah.
But I have another brother who lives in Pinner, so Keith goes over to there a lot to make sure they're okay. And my mum's incredible; she's doing great. My dad not so good, and it's just one of them things where, you know, you kind of worry with what's going on with what's going on right now, and you talk to them, but they're very old-fashioned, so everything is always okay. We're okay, and I'm thinking, yeah, well, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I say to them, don't forget, I'm on TV. Okay, whatever, that's good. And
Listen, talking about family though, how's Coleman? How's my
Coleman's doing wonderful. You know, Coleman, he is so grounding he's grounded me so much. And oh my God, I don't know, he's just so, I think Coleman's probably has lived many, many lives because he acts like a 98-year-old man sometimes. He's so mellow and so chilled, and he stands in line outside the post office with his hands, both hands in front, just like you do when you used to go in the whole classroom, like, you know, and it's like, and then there's me.
Oh, you know, you're both lovely. But I when we were doing Pooch Perfect, he was my little sort of sidekick, really. I used to see him wandering around Manchester. And he, you know, you would go filming all day and he would just go off and enjoy Manchester, and I love that about him. My James that as well, that they'll just sort themselves out and you don't have to worry about it.
And that's what he did in Australia too, because when we was in Australia, he would go out and explore, and then he would show me Australia after. So wherever I wanted to go, he knew where it was. He will get on a train. I don't do trains anymore. I'm a taxi person, or I'll walk it if it's not, you know. And but he's really good like that. And he's young. He loves to travel, but he really is. He's done so much for me. He doesn't think he does a lot, but I'm like, you have no idea what you do without probably knowing it. So yeah, he's incredible, and he's good.
It's nice to have that support mechanism.
And what do you do with Jigsaw when you go away? What happens?
Sarah, the dog sitter. So Sarah is she's a dog sitter. She works, helps out Linda in the grooming salon in Frome, and she stays here at the house. And it's really weird because when I first used to leave Jigsaw, I would probably call about 5 times a day to make sure he was okay. I was one of those really annoying dog owners. Now I go away and I'd be lucky if I even call once, because I know he's happy. If anything was to happen, Sarah knows to do what's in the best interest for him.
Yeah.
And to tell me right away, don't wait till I get home. If anything was to happen, let me know so I can take it all in and deal with it. But he's 13 years old now, and he has good days and bad days. And I always say I don't know if I'd get another dog. Obviously, Coleman loves dogs like Great Pyrenees and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so we just have to wait and see. But I mean, I love Jigsaw. Jigsaw's been with me as long as I've been in the UK, and so he's like he was a big part of, well, he is a big part of my life, obviously, like all our dogs are. But Jigsaw has always been like my mate, because I was here a lot. This is not a sad story, but before I met Coleman, and but then again, saying that, me and Coleman have known each other for like, God, we've been together for close to 10 years now, 9 years.
Because I can remember meeting Coleman when Donnell German came over.
Yeah, and also for Louisa's birthday party,
yeah,
where we all wore moustaches. So that was in the time where people are saying, "Oh, it won't last. It's just a little romance and all that kind of stuff." And then yeah, here we are, married and bitching at each other and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I love him. I love you both. Well, it's been gorgeous and fascinating to talk to you, Colin.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming on to our little podcast. We've really
loved it. And also congratulations on your podcast, which you're going to be doing.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And what we have to do, I think we have to find a way to link all these podcasts together, because I think that's really, really important. And I think it'd be really great, because I think the groomers can get something out of anything. And whether it be only grooming related or not grooming related, if they can have some kind of company, like you said, in their studios, in their house, that's what counts. So they have some company when they're walking their dog or whatever like that.
Well, at the end of the day, they're all dog lovers. That's where it comes.
Absolutely,
It's
exactly.
anything to do with dogs.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm surprised that you recognise me, Colin. Not Colin, Colin. Only because in lockdown I put on 1.5 stone in weight and I've gone grey. Look at this grey hair. Look.
Well, you know what? But but you're also 7 foot tall, Julie.
She is. She's 18.
You know, you're tall and you can probably carry that weight great.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. It's all in my arse. Yeah, carry it well.
You do carry it well, darling. But thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to working with you guys a lot more. And I cannot wait to see you guys in person.
Yeah, no, and I mean, obviously you and Stu have been really involved with Pooch Perfect, and I'm just buzzing to see it.
Well, you have been involved with it too, Julie, as much as you have me banging on about it for the last year.
Yeah, or bizarre conversations in the middle of the night, going, "Is this right?"
Too funny. But you know what? But things do make you question yourself, and to make sure everything is done perfectly, because obviously, you know, when you're doing something like that, which is put out to the masses, you want to make sure, but it's done incredibly well. And you know what? They've done a great job. You've done a great job.
We run a business together, so she, you know, whether I'm going to be available or not available, and it's all those sorts of things that we end up talking about constantly. So, you know, there's certain things that we have to discuss, isn't there, Julie?
There is, most definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I know what Julie's like too, you know, just from her walking into English Groomers Group and looking at the trophy table to make sure it's done properly. But thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. But before you go, just a reminder, Pooch Perfect episode 1 is on Thursday, the 7th of January, 8 o'clock, after EastEnders, and it's the first heat, isn't it? It's the first heat. This
is the first heat, so there is 4 heats, 2 quarterfinals, 1 semi-final, final.
Correct.
Because before, so it's the first heat, and remember, guys,
willing you to.
Yeah, I know, and I just remember, you probably will have your favourites, but support all of them because they are all incredible.
Yeah, they are.
So incredible and so brave to put themselves out there and to show the world their craft and their passion, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're all worthy winners as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, exactly.
Yeah. And you and Verity are brilliant judges, and Bolly's a brilliant, and Sheridan is an amazing host. So it is a really, really good team, and let's keep our fingers crossed for series 2.
Absolutely.
Right, thanks, Colin. It's been lovely to see you.
Happy New
Bye.
Year. Bye.
Bye.